this is your man, Prentice Johnson. Thanks for joining me again on Heesh, Worldwide Publishing News. This Corona version. Listen, it's Corona 2021. And it seems that there is a big issue going on, and I want to be able to present what that issue is and what I feel is necessary to do something about it and enable your ability to comprehend what's happening from a lower economic level so that some things can be done to relinquish this issue and we can get back to our normal lives. I want you to take a look at this first graph. This first graph kind of depicts what's actually happening in each state. Okay, we got what, 52, 54 different territories in the United States, and it has literally been a hellish situation to be stuck in quarantines and not free to live your everyday life. People have been really without incomes, unemployed, and waiting for relief. And I think it's time to start getting to the bottom line in the situation. If you're listening to the news, it seems like we're running out of funding. And with that said, I believe it's time and necessary to move forward. Now, the government has taken the steps that they found necessary to try to relinquish the situation. But the reality is it's coming back. And the large issue is how it's coming back. Already this year, it's 2.5 times the amount of cases, 2.5 times the amount of deaths as last year. Okay. That is not spread all over a period of time, but if you take a look at these numbers, you're capable of actually seeing that these numbers are climbing in some areas. My state last year, Minnesota, last year, the state where I'm from, at extremely low numbers. Deaths were between 7 and 14. Just the other day, I looked at the numbers, and for September 15th, there were 41 deaths. 41 deaths. That's, to me, that number is staggering. It's way too high. Okay. My expectation was they were doing the right thing. They were allowing people that were homeless to come inside of shelters. They implemented the vaccine, and now people were going to start living their everyday lives. They're saying that those with the vaccine have been okay, but it really hasn't shown that in the numbers. Okay. And so even if the people with vaccine are fine, the strategy to implement the vaccine hasn't taken place well enough. Take a look at some of these numbers. California, Texas, Florida. There's an extreme problem when your recovered cases by percentage are not extremely higher than your active cases. Okay, you're gonna come down to Texas, your recoveries versus your active cases are about 10%. Still, 10% is a very high number for the second, going on third year of this pandemic. For it to be still spreading in the fashion that it's spreading, that means some things have not been completely implemented, and they definitely need to be implemented. So take a look at what's going on in your state all the way across. We got title, case, the amount by case. This was about 2 days ago, so it's either I believe it's September 16th. Total cases, total deaths, new deaths, total recoveries, active cases, total cases, and all the way here to population. This is what's being reported. Okay, California with the highest cases. Right, that's where it's warm, sunny California. There are a lot of people that are involved in entertainment, people brushing shoulders. They're ready to come out and play. People, fall is here. There is a huge concern. Okay, the numbers spike in the cold. All right, you're looking at the possibility of going from low numbers like 14s, 20s, 100s and 50s to thousands of not cases per day, but deaths. There's some huge concerns. So take a look at these different areas and take a look at the United States versus Minnesota and compare United States versus Minnesota to United States versus your state. And check out what's also happening in other countries, on other continents. Okay. Look at the way this graph looks. This down slope. Whoa, looks like here, this year, everything's going to be okay. It's going to recover, right? This is United States. It really does look like we're going to recover here. Okay. The change in the temperature comes and it is overly projecting that there has been mistakes here. This looks like 4 times to me by way of this graph. And this is in September. So if you go back to September here, look how low 2020's numbers are in September. United States deaths shows double. My state alone, the deaths look like they have actually possibly quadrupled. I'm extremely concerned. This seems to me it's a very simple understanding and some very simple implementation in order to get rid of this issue. We follow a particular process and follow up with force. I think we can get back to our normal lives. I think it's been 2 years. Now it will be going on 3. I think it would be so much easier and less exhausting for us to shut down for a couple of months than to be suffering for now 2 years. Uh, the problem is it can get worse. Here's one of the major issues that is extremely hard to comprehend, and especially in big cities. Homeless people, they're stuck outside. Okay. And whether in their mind they're doing something on purpose or not, whether they have been vaccinated or not, all that has to happen is people be set to roam, and it's possible to carry the virus from one place to another. The people in position in these particular organizations haven't been capable of handling these situations properly. Okay, they're enabling and allowing drugs to flow through these systems. All right, I'm not sure how much participation is actually going on here. This is all in truth. Let me tell you, as long as someone's bagging up drugs, whether they have the vaccine or not, they're bagging up the drug, passing it from one person to another, they're susceptible to the coronavirus. Okay, and even if they don't get the virus, it doesn't take over their body. All they have to be doing is transferring the drug or traveling with the virus and leaving it in a place where others might be susceptible to the virus. More than that, when you don't think ahead and know that these people are actually set to roam, you put them in a position where they don't have a comfortable place to lay down. You're causing a standpoint where you're reacting to a situation, but then enabling it. And from the way it looks, going into September already, you're looking at 3 times the numbers from last year. So everything that you've done has been redundant. Again, I'm speaking out as an individual who has seen it from this level of argument. So I know what's going on. I know how it's happening. I know how easy it is. And although I can't pinpoint what area this stuff is happening, all it has to do is reach. By way of travel. Okay, so we need to start implementing strategies to stop this from happening. First and foremost, make sure that the people at the bottom are not roaming. Okay, you might have to open up your hotels, your motels, your place stays, your apartment buildings for these people to have somewhere during a mandatory quarantine. They should not be forced to travel. They should be fed, should be able to shower, and they should be able to release when necessary. Okay, but nobody should be roaming, and especially no one should be forced to roam. That's in any position, especially an emergency pandemic. Right? So we need to stop travel. Is United States, it looks like it has the abundance of corona, man. Right? And I don't care what they said, black people are more susceptible. Yeah, that's because they're at a lower economic level in the United States. If you look over in Africa, people of dark skin aren't really getting it the way Caucasians are actually getting it. May have to do with less travel, but you're still broadcasting that they're more susceptible. Travel has to stop again. Zero travel, not from one continent to the other, not from one country to the other, not from one state to the other. No travel. Okay. For me, I think it's simple. I think it's just 2-month antidote. All right. Take the first period and prepare. Okay. Make sure you have enough food, water, hand sanitizer, the ability to obtain some type of antibacterial cleaning fluid. You need about 2 months of food. Make sure it stretches out. At bare minimum, make certain that you don't have to keep going out during the quarantine. Like, second period will be a mandatory quarantine. That will mean that everybody, not 1, 2, 3 organizations, shut down. The only thing we need is delivery services. Okay, anything that is necessary has to keep running, can keep running. But you have to take the necessary precautions in order to keep running. There is absolutely no reason for people to not have their incomes for that 2 months versus going through this again for another year or two. Mandatory quarantine for the second period. We go to the third period. We have an external sterilization. That means all over the United States. Okay. We go out and spray the outside. Make sure whatever we use to spray is not going to kill humans, it's not going to kill animals, it's not going to kill bugs, but it's going to kill the coronavirus. Okay. Make sure it's done. All right. No more virus outside. All right. And this time, people are sitting inside. If they have the virus, they can go and separate themselves at the hospitals, start getting treatment immediately. Okay. Right. But it's not getting out and it's not traveling. So it is quarantine. Next, we have an internal sterilization. Right. All buildings, apartment buildings that have common areas, all businesses must sterilize. There are people roaming in the building. They must be sterilized daily. Okay. Especially when there's people coming in and out. There should be for 2 months, no reason for people to be coming in and out. Okay. So implemented, it's done. And we can move on to the last excellence. It's vaccination and verification. We're re-entering now. All right. Now, those who have been vaccinated and are capable of proving that they don't have the virus can come in and start working. We can start a regular flow. Okay. Your buses and all that kind of stuff can then begin moving slowly. All right. And those who have vaccination, proof of vaccination, can start re entering. So if you're not willing to get the vaccination or if you're allergic to vaccinations, at least we have taken the necessary precautions outside and in. So it's not a problem. Okay. But anybody that is not allergic, it's a mandatory vaccination that can be implemented upon re-entry. So be 100% certain that before you go to work, before you start going back to your normal habits, you're vaccinated. You can get back to school, get back to your training. Right? This doesn't have to be a issue that drags out for years upon years upon years. Let's just implement this simple strategy. before we're completely exhausted of resources. Again, thanks for joining Heesh Worldwide Publishing News. This is your man, Prentice Johnson. We'll look forward to seeing you again.